Hello, Down to Earth Mystic subscribers and newbies to the channel. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up that the video on this one was with some new technology, and I get it. That didn't turn out well, but there were still some really good messages, so I have kept the video. So bear with me. I will improve that in the next video. See you then. Thanks. Welcome back to Down to Earth Mystic for another pick a deck reading. You know the drill, or if you don't, I can tell you that. You'll choose either the Osho Zen deck, the Tarot of Dreams deck, or Radiant Rider-Waite deck, and then click on the timestamp below coordinating with that deck, and then just sit back and enjoy the reading. And then next step for you would be to comment below, let me know what you thought of the reading or if you have any questions, and then of course you'll need to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, so diving in, we'll get the Rider-Waite out of the way, as well as Tarot of Dreams out of the way, and we'll get started with the Osho Zen. Okay, so I will do a Celtic cross for this reading for all three decks. Again, this is the Osho Zen deck to begin with, and I'm just going to dive right in. So I will tell you what all the card representations are for where I'm putting them as I go, and then once all the cards are out, I will go through what that is, or how that what that means for you as a reading. Okay, so the first card is the center of your reading. Next card will be the energy crossing you. Next card will be the subconscious energy, and then this is the conscious energy. There, now you guys can see it a little bit better. This placement will be your recent past. This placement is your near future. This placement will be what you bring to the situation. This placement is your environment. This will be combination of your hopes and fears, so it could go either way, or it can sometimes actually represent both. And then this would be your potential outcome. Okay, so let's just dive in with your reading. So first of all, we've got the center of the situation, and though this does say exhaustion, I suppose that is one interpretation of this card. This is going to be the Nine of Wands card in a traditional deck, and I see that not necessarily as exhaustion, but more so feeling the need to defend yourself. Can be the Wounded Warrior card, but I see it more as just basically defending what it is that you want. And I'm just going to kind of jump the gun a little bit and say, with all that I'm seeing in all of the other cards, this is potentially around a relationship. So whether you're in a relationship or you're kind of striving to be in one, either way, you're realizing just how important what it is that you want out of a relationship is, and you're standing your ground on that and not changing, not bending to be like a people pleaser. So I see that as a very positive thing, even though it does start as exhaustion. So I do, again, I don't really take it that way, especially not in this reading. So the energy crossing, that is the Queen of Swords. It does say morality at the bottom of the card. Again, Osho Zen, I mean, I could see if it seemed applicable in this reading, I may lean towards that, but yeah, I guess that's also kind of standing ground on your morals when we combine it with the Nine of Wands. But the Queen of Swords, I think I said once, but the Queen of Swords card I see as kind of cutting away all the things that don't serve your highest good. And so that's just really standing firm in your logics, really standing firm. I guess you could go as far as morals. So yes, I'm kind of leaning more towards what this deck is interpreting for the Queen of Swords. So yeah, it's really standing your ground and knowing what you want and not budging, which can be viewed as being kind of maybe high maintenance, but I do not take it that way, especially not in this reading. That is actually just standing firm on what it is that you want, and that's totally okay. That's actually really, really healthy. So your unconscious energy is going to be the Five of Cups, and in this deck it says clinging to the past. I have heard this card referred to as basically crying over spilled milk, but it is in your subconscious energy. So I take that as actually you have some past hurt, some past pain that is creating such a strong, like, digging your heels in kind of attitude of like, I'm not going to do that again. And that's okay. Now, a part of me is just going to say, please don't cling to that too much. That is what it's saying, clinging to the past. Don't cling to that too much in that you expect it to happen again and you have to like thoroughly defend yourself, but more so of like just a guide of what you know you don't want and standing firm in that. And so I would say with clinging, I'm going to caution you to focus less on what has happened, focus more on what you do want, and don't anticipate it happen again because you've learned from it and you're not going to let it happen again. So maybe a little bit of advice to maybe loosen your grip on that a little bit in the past. So then your conscious energy, I've seen a lot of interpretations for this card as well. This is a Six of Cups, which can represent soulmate. In this particular deck, though, the dream, it does talk about the story behind this card with this deck and the book that came with it. Talks about basically actually kind of a lot of like what was talked about in this card, in that it's saying you're clinging to something outside of yourself, and it does recommend more so going within and knowing that's where your happiness comes from. It looks like this woman is dreaming about this beautiful relationship, this soulmate relationship, and she's seeing that as the only way to be happy. Now, I'm going to retract that part of the meeting for this particular reading because I'm seeing that you are standing your ground. You do know your worth. You do know your values. You're definitely cutting away anything that does not matter to you. And so in this card, I'm thinking more of like soulmate. Soulmate is what is on the forefront of your mind. You most definitely are looking for that. Honestly, a soulmate and soulmate only. You're done with nonsense. You're done with the pain and relationships going wrong. You're wanting something that's solid and perfect. In your recent past, it looked like there was a lot of things going on. This says traveling. I take that more as like action and movement and just a lot of intensity, actually. And so maybe it's kind of relating more towards what you're clinging to in the past, being your past, just a lot going on. And so I like seeing the transition from that to your near future with friendliness. And then, believe it or not, this is the Two of Cups, which can also be one of the soulmate cards. So with the soulmate card in your near future, It's interesting how many meanings we're seeing overlying. It's interesting. So we've got soulmate, which normally those don't necessarily direct towards that specifically, but they can. And then we've got past and past. Well, just as the past placement, and that's why it is past. But then we've got kind of standing your ground with both of these two. So it's it feels like there's a lot of the theme here is kind of just really strengthening. Everything is strengthening itself. So your past is strengthening how you feel now. Your past is also kind of strengthening what you're hoping for in the future, which has changed it quite a bit. But that's good because you're realizing that your path has created who you are now, and that's good. That's okay. There's nothing to dwell on about that. It's just a part of who you are. So yeah, definitely seeing this as a positive. So with the Two of Cups being a soulmate card, I see it as a little deeper than that. I see it as, well, it does say friendliness down here. It's kind of like this just natural flow. Relationships can be tough, but this one is like, it feels nearly magical actually, because you just have that epic balance. Two is about balance. Two of Cups is about like balance and emotion, but it's also union between two people. And in this card, we're seeing the two trees blending. I mean, we've got a pink tree, a yellow tree, and they're merging to have like this orange color. And so for me, that's kind of like blending your energies in a beautiful way. So loving that card for your near future. Absolutely something to look forward to. The card in the placement of what you bring to the situation says isolation. This is a Three of Swords. And so I'm going to caution you to, again, look at not clinging to your past, because it's possible that you can be bringing past hurts to this new potential relationship entering your life, or sometimes a new level of a current relationship. So that can take it how it resonates for you on that. But the heartache, the past pain, that is something to, again, cut away the Queen of Swords. Cut away what doesn't belong to you. Accept nothing less than what you deserve. But please do not cling to that. That seems to be what's kind of weighing you down a little bit. It is time to release it. It is time to let go of what was holding you back. And so that's just something to be aware of. It's not something to really focus on. Just know it's there. Notice it's there. Kind of honestly makes me think of the video I just posted on Saturday about you're stronger than your pain. It gives you that indication that you know what, you went through the pain, whatever, it happened. It's something that was part of your path, but you don't have to hold on to it. It actually gives you that opportunity to grow and not to dwell on. So caution with that one. Do not dwell on the pain. It happened for a reason, but you're not there anymore. So let it go. Okay, so then your environment is transformation, which perfectly aligns with everything we're talking about. You're so much stronger than your past, what is kind of lingering in your subconscious, but you realize it's time to let it go. The environment is conducive to transform through it. This can be seen as the Death card. It is a death it's a death of seeing your pain as your identity. It is not who you are, it is what you've experienced, and it's ready to go. It's out of here. Now your hopes and fears, looks like we've got past lives here. This is an interesting interpretation of this card. So it has escaped me right now what the card number 18 in the Major Arcana is, and that's probably for a reason, because past lives would be more important for us to focus on than my interpretation of the traditional tarot deck. So yes, past lives here. I'm seeing this as potentially you're hoping for such a deep connection that you feel you've known this person before. And whoa, I got waves of chills on that one. You are most definitely aiming for none of that like fling energy. You're ready for that epic, deep connection that's lasting, that's long lasting, that you felt when you meet them, you're like, wow, how is it that we've just met? I feel like I've known you my whole life, or I have memories of past lives, which you may, just depending on how open to that, how connected you are to that type of energy, you may feel like you've known each other before in past lives, and you may actually experience some past lives, past life memories. So yeah, this is really epic. This is really deep. And of course, we're going to end the reading with the card, the Lovers. Now, sometimes this card can indicate absolutely nothing to do with another person and kind of planning for the future. But I think in this case, it truly does represent not only lovers, but planning for the future, planning for a solid future with someone, just a really, really super epic connection. Wow, this is a beautiful reading. I mean, the cards couldn't have fallen much better. The only thing that I'm going to really focus on as far as advice and growth, other than get ready, it's going to be a beautiful adventure with this person. I would say do not let that pain take over. It doesn't need to win. It doesn't have to win. It doesn't have to be important. It is your past. So let go of the pain and hold on tight for a beautiful connection. Wow. Nice. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next deck. Oh, wow. I would love to hear some stories on those of you who chose that deck. Please comment below. All right, next up, this is the Tarot of Dreams deck. This deck is really thick and has actually tons of extra cards in here, so we'll see if any of those extra cards show up. A little hard to shuffle because the cards are so thick, and there's just so many of them, but it is such a fun deck. Okay, so if you didn't listen to the first one, and that's okay, totally fine. Actually, hope that you were drawn to this one, and this one really speaks to you. What I'm going to do here first is I'll dive into kind of the placement of the cards, and then more so into the meaning of each of the cards that have landed where they did. So the first card will be the center of your reading. The second card, it would be the energy crossing your reading. So this energy crossing can be either the energy helping or hurting you in this situation. The next card is going to be the subconscious energy, and then this will be the conscious energy. This is your recent past. This is your near future. It's going to be what you bring to the situation. And we're going to scoot everything over. We're running out of room over there. Okay, so what you bring to the situation, your environment, your hopes and your fears, could be both, could be either, just depends on how it aligns with all the rest of the cards. And here we have the potential outcome. Okay. So, lots of glare, sorry guys, I'll work on the lighting for you. So center of the reading, we've got the 10 of coins, which that can be kind of like completion, finally finding that stability and happiness in your values, your connections, your relationships. Could be like just a, solid family connection. And yeah, pentacles, coins and pentacles are the same, can represent your values and your material things. So it can mean wealth. So the center of your reading here is about wealth. And then the energy crossing you is another 10. So this 10 of Swords can be viewed as like a defeat. But that just means it's something that you're having to handle. You're having to realize is something that's coming up in your mind. It doesn't mean you will be defeated by any means. It's just maybe even like a lingering fear of some type of defeat blocking you from your emotional your kind of material and value happiness. So be aware of that it's just something that's, and then with this being a Swords card, it is something that's weighing on your mind. It would be within your thoughts. So, don't let those thoughts creep in. You can control what you're focused on, what you're thinking about. So keep that in mind. It doesn't have to win those defeating thoughts. Okay. And it can also mean kind of the ending of those defeating thoughts too. So definitely focus more on that possibility. 9 of Cups will be your subconscious energy. And so this is awesome. This is kind of the, dreams coming true, wishes coming true. Look at all that, like, prosperity that seems to be just radiating off of this card. It's very happy. So, even though these aren't the same card, I feel like they kind of mean the same thing in this reading. It's like the center of your reading is like ultimate wealth and happiness and family values and things, and then you've got this emotional aspect of the same thing in the 9 of Cups. And then, so your conscious energy, this is going to be the 4 of Coins or 4 of Pentacles. And that is kind of clinging to something. There's something that and you'll know what this is. It'll be different for everybody. There's something that you're clinging to that I'm going to recommend you kind of loosen your grip on. It's not serving you, or actually kind of a flip side of that might be clinging to your values in a way that really is actually positive and not budging from what your values are. So take that as how it means for you. If you feel like there's something you might be clinging a little too tight to, then it means that. Or if there's something that of your values that you don't want to let go and you shouldn't let go of, it just feel that out in your heart and see what it means for you. Okay, so in your past energy, we've got the 4 of Wands, and so this can represent marriage. It can represent not necessarily your own marriage. You could have met someone at a social event that you really connected with, and I don't normally go there with that meaning for this card, but that can mean that. So maybe for some of you that really hits home. This card can indicate, for some they see this as the twin flame card because it's got like 11 with the 4 of Wands. So we'll see where that comes into play later. That's in your recent past. So then in your recent or your near future, we've got the 7 of Coins, and I'd say this is kind of more like a patience card. Have patience. There's something brewing that you've already put all the work into that you need to, and then we're actually just getting to the point where you're waiting to your harvest is almost ready. You're waiting to reap your benefits. So in your near future, you will be kind of awaiting the results. So we're almost there, but hang tight, be patient. And then in the energy that you bring to the situation, it's the Seven of Wands. So this card does indicate kind of having the upper hand. There may be someone that you feel you're needing to fight on something. And gosh, this all seems so broad. I'm sorry, I haven't really narrowed in on what it could mean for you. But some readings do need to be that way, because this reading may resonate with a lot of people in a lot of situations. And so I guess that's why I'm feeling really kind of broad and open-minded about all of these things. So anyway, the Seven of Wands, you do have the upper hand. I do anticipate a victory in this, like, I wouldn't say conflict, but maybe just a little bit of like not being on the same page with someone necessarily, but still speak your truth. And actually, yes, speak your truth, and that will be how you maintain the upper hand. But keep in mind this conscious influence of maybe clinging a little too tightly to what you feel are 100% your values. So I feel you're not necessarily wrong. You do somewhat have the upper hand, but give a little bit, though. There's a little bit needed here for compromise. And so I'm actually seeing that here in the environment as well, with temperance, because temperance can indicate kind of finding that balance. Yeah, that's really all I'm feeling with this card, is that it is the environment of finding balance, allowing balance to happen. So in your hopes and fears, we've got the Hanging Man, or the Hanged Man in some decks, most decks actually. And so, yeah, I feel like that's where this conscious energy comes in, that you're clinging tough to something, or clinging tightly to something, and you're gonna realize when you take a moment to kind of step back and really view the situation. I'd say pause. Interestingly, we've got patience. This is kind of saying pause. You're kind of afraid of defeat, and so that's okay. It's coming together a little bit more. There's something that's very important to you. There's something you're really hoping for. It is like your dreams coming true that you're really like striving for here. But there's also a part of you that is so fearful of this defeat. You're feeling so defensive. With the Seven of Wands, you're feeling defensive. But that what will help you actually is going to be finding that balance, seeing a different perspective, and pausing action. Having that patience, allowing the situation to somewhat unfold, and comes together at the end again, waiting. The Three of Wands, you're waiting for your ship to come in. So, okay, so it's coming together a little bit better. As much as you might feel that there's some action that you need to take, a part of me is saying it is just your defeat mentality from your past. That is, well, defeat mentality potentially from your past, but also that you're so strongly craving whatever the situation is that you want to defend it. These two both are kind of working together to say defense, but your environment of balance and patience and seeing a different perspective, or your environment of balance, your near future of patience, your hopes and fears of seeing that different perspective, it's all coming together to say it's coming. It really is. Your harvest is coming. Be patient. And your ship will come in, but you, again, for now, it's waiting. It's not happening yet. And that's okay. Because the beauty of it not happening yet is that all of the stars are lining up to actually work out in the best outcome for you. So, overall theme, let go of the defeat mentality. Know that your wishes and dreams are coming. Not yet, but it's coming. Sometimes seeing that different perspective will be really helpful. Okay, so that will be it for the reading for the Tarot of Dreams. Any questions, please comment below. Happy to see how all of this pans out for you guys. All right, last but not least, we do have the Radiant Rider Waite deck. I'm trying not to show you guys the bottom of the deck and seeing all of these cards, and I'm also trying not to look at them myself, so getting a little creative with my shuffling here. And then we did have a card fall out, so I'm going to take that as a bonus message. We will look at that in a little while. Not quite ready yet. Okay, now we're good. All right, so the layout of the card is what I'll go, or layout of the cards will be what I go over first, and then we'll go over the meanings of each card and how that aligns with your reading. First, we've got the center of the situation will be the here, and what's the energy crossing you will be, or sorry, helping or hurting you, or helping or blocking you is the energy crossing you. This is going to be your subconscious energy. This will be your conscious energy. There we go. You guys can see a little better. This is going to be your past, recent past. This is your near future. Ooh, I like that being your near future. To be revealed. Okay, and then this is what you bring to the situation. This is your environment. This is your hopes and your fears. Hopes or fears. And possible outcome. Okay, I now see why we have a bonus card, because I will want to clarify that possible outcome when we get there. All right, so the center of your situation. So it sounds like with the Page of Cups, we've got some emotional growth happening. Some, like the start of a new scenario, the start of a new situation that involves your emotions, that is giving you an opportunity for some increased maturity. So, interesting. So it sounds like the energy crossing the reading is that, or, you know, helping or hindering or blocking you, is that you are so passionate. A Queen of Wands is so passionate, so creative, that's kind of how you have behaved in the past, or that's kind of natural for you to more so be passionate and creative about your situation. And now you're somewhat being challenged to be a little more emotional, or maybe bringing the Page of Cups can be kind of like the beginning of, oh, okay, this is kind of like the beginning of your opening up to your psychic abilities, actually. So it can be emotion, can be intuition for Cups. In this case, I would say you're somewhat being challenged to, oh, yep, in your past, I'm seeing High Priestess. Your intuition's really amping up. Okay, so in the past, you've been kind of quick to act, really creative, and this is just kind of your happy zone, your normal behavior, and now you've got all these emotions and feelings and kind of psychic intuitions coming in. And so that's like a big shift in your personality, which is going to be very positive because we're seeing victory in the future, but I'm jumping ahead. And so man, okay, so as your subconscious influence, we've got the Seven of Swords. And so, okay, This is not going to resonate for all of you, but it may resonate for some of you specifically. And if it doesn't resonate for you, I'd say this card is null for you. There's not even going to be like a different meaning, but it's more so like you're in the past, your intuition and your growing psychic connection is starting to see this. You found your intuition giving you a hint that someone was going to be deceptive. And you were right. Your intuition was on point. And so you're kind of shaken, actually, by this. Excuse me. You're kind of shaken by how true and correct your intuition was. And so... actually, no, if that doesn't resonate, I'd say in the past you've deceived yourself by not listening to your intuition. So it's either someone else deceived you and your intuition was on point, and so that's really kind of shaken up your world and realizing that you're a little more psychic than you gave yourself credit. And then as well, you may be deceiving yourself and not listening to that intuition. So I do see that now as having a second meaning. Your conscious energy is, well, Two of Pentacles can be kind of finding that balance. It can be kind of balancing a lot on your plate. But in this case, because it's balance and it's values in general, honestly, I'd say it's that back and forth of you trusting your intuition, not trusting your intuition, and finding that middle ground. Because it's like sometimes you trusted your intuition so... Here's the past. We're just diving in. Sometimes you've trusted your intuition so much, but in the back of your mind, you still had that mental, like, internal, like, oh, that's not right. That you're realizing how much more you can trust your intuition. And so, yeah, that's still balanced, though. I mean, it's still getting used to just how psychic you can become, and the more that you trust it, it's like working at a muscle. The more that you trust it, the better you're going to get. So in the near future, we have victory, the Six of Wands. In the near future, I feel you're going to master that energy that's really been like weighing on you of like, do I trust it? Do I not? Do I trust it? Do I not? And you're going to realize just how good you are. So, interestingly, what you bring to the situation is the Knight of Cups, which is like a step up from the Page of Cups. So, not only are you realizing, like, it's almost like you've been this Knight of Cups, but because you've been deceiving yourself, you've just been like, oh yeah, that psychic stuff is nonsense. But now you've got this Page of Cups as the center of everything, and you're like, oh, maybe I am a little bit. But there's actually even one step further where you actually are. So you're developing from the Page of Cups to the Knight of Cups, whereas like internally you've been the Knight of Cups. You're starting to awaken to that. Man, this this is a unique reading for sure. The environment of your situation is the Queen of Pentacles. So what I'm taking that as is there's just, man, these elements are kind of all over the place. We've got air, earth, fire, water, earth. Okay, the key here is going to be finding your balance. So, well, we've already talked about that, but it's even more prominent now that I'm seeing like all of these like array of suits here. There's just all over the place. But the Queen of Pentacles is going to be someone who is really... this feels like it has a much different meaning than it normally would in a reading. Okay, so it's finding your value, acknowledging your value in all that you have inside, in all of your psychic possibilities, and all of your finding the value in your intuition. Man, I feel like I'm being pulled in so many different directions in this reading. It's pretty hilarious, actually. But that might be how you're feeling, actually, too, because you're like the groundedness of a queen is kind of like the environment that you're so used to. Look, we've got 2 queens, actually. So the stability of a Queen of Pentacles that you're so used to, that is still your environment, the passion and creativity that you're so used to is still relevant. But you're just kind of, I don't want to say you're in your infancy, but you're in your beginning stages of like, okay, you've mastered your groundedness and you've mastered your passion, and mastered isn't quite it with Queen, but you're really good at the stability and the groundedness. You're really good at the creativity and the passion, and you're just really starting to also step into your intuition. So this is those of you that were drawn to this reading, you're really functioning from a place of finding balance, like craving balance, and you're doing it. You're finding that balance in your mind, because there are swords in here. Only one sword. But okay, well, that's mentally confusing for you. That you're starting to focus more on your psychic abilities, and the stability is important to you, and the creativity is important to you. 2 wands, 2 pentacles, 2 cups. And it's almost like, with there being less air energy in this reading, that you're like kicking logic out the window, and starting to really embrace all of the other aspects of you that are so much stronger. Wow, like I said, really intense energy. Okay, so strength. Strength would be your hope and your fear. Interestingly enough, I see this as both. Your strength and your fear. Or sorry, your hope and your fear. You know just how incredibly strong you are, and that scares you sometimes. But it actually may scare others as well. With the Queen of Wands being kind of your energy crossing and helping you, actually, all these energies work really well together. They're starting to meld and blend and amalgamate really well together. But that strength is kind of your hope and your fear, in that you're fearful that you're going to start to be such an intense person that, oh gosh, I'm seeing this in the outcome card. Okay, so your strength is so intense that you fear the potential outcome of being left out in the cold, and just being too much for somebody. And I'm going to tell you right now, well, let's just see what this card says. Okay, that makes perfect sense. Okay, so you've got so much going on in growth, and epic beauty in this growth. It's amazing. The balancing of everything is just turning out. You're becoming such an amazing person. Not that you weren't already, but you're uncovering all of your strengths and all of this amazing, like, essence that you are, that you're fearing that that's going to leave you out in the cold. And you're fearing that you're going to lose these friendships that you've had, or these people that you've had in your life for a while. But the clarifier that jumped out at the beginning of the reading is the 8 of Cups. Sorry, if you can't see this, I didn't say what it was. It's the 5 of Pentacles. The 8 of Cups is seeing these stable cups right here and deciding it's still in my best interest to walk away. And so, yes, no wonder you've got this balance toying. No wonder you've got this like ick in your mind, kind of. You're growing into such an amazing person, or actually you're growing into. It's kind of like saying that you have big shoes to fill, but those shoes fit perfectly. Like you've got this epic essence of you, and you've got this amazing strength that is too much for some people. And so what that's creating is that you're walking away from some of your previous, quote, not really, but previously understood as stable relationships and friendships and, oh gosh, maybe even job. Like this is like an epic shift for you, an epic awakening for you. This high priestess in your past is like really, really an awakening, like deep, wow, what just happened in my life? Psychic abilities coming from out of nowhere, it feels like, and revealing the truths that you are this really beautiful soul. And it scares you that the people in your life won't accept that, but you're realizing that walking away from them is precisely what you need to do. Not everybody, but some of the people that don't accept this amazing, beautiful growth within you. So, wow, that was an intense reading. Basically, hold on tight. You are growing into your true self. You're realizing just how amazing you are. And yes, that will cause changes. That will cause shifts in your life. But when you really step into who you are, when you really step into this epic person that you are, you're never going to look back. You're going to see that what you thought was super stable and super like what you needed in your life is actually not up to par with what you're capable of. So, so interesting, so intense. Just know, hanging around, okay, so advice. Not even necessarily seeing this in the cards, but hanging on to the people that are holding you back is not helping you. Embracing who you really are, well, I guess some of this is in the cards, but embracing who you really are is going to help you to grow into such an amazing, beautiful soul. And you're not going to look back. You're not going to wish that you hadn't left. You're going to realize that this change that you're going through is the best thing that ever happened to you. Ooh, okay. Awesome. So excited for you. Please comment below. Let me know what you're going through. I would love to guide you through this. If you have questions, please comment below and we'll take it from there, okay? Just know this is such a beautiful change, as weird as it might feel right now. Okay. That's it, guys. I've really rambled on about your reading. I hope this was helpful for you, and honestly, if it feels just confusing right now, maybe watch this again soon, because it'll make more sense after you've kind of shifted through some of the processes of this awakening for you. So, yeah. Wow. What an intense reading. I hope you have a lovely day, and I look forward to seeing your comments in future videos. Have a beautiful day. Hold on tight. You are so strong.